Have you ever stopped to think about the fact that you are alive? Not just breathing, not just existing, but truly alive. For a moment, forget your name, forget your age, forget your job, forget your dreams, forget everything that usually defines you. Just stay with one simple fact. You are conscious. You are experiencing this moment. That may sound ordinary, but it is one of the strangest facts in the entire universe. Right now, billions of things are happening around you. Cars are moving. People are talking. Stars are burning millions of kilometers away. Somewhere, a child is being born. Somewhere else, someone is taking their final breath. Life continues without asking for your permission. And somehow, in the middle of this enormous universe, you are here, aware, looking through your own eyes, listening with your own ears, feeling your own thoughts. Have you ever wondered why? Not why you were born to your parents, not why you live in your country. A much deeper question: why does anything exist at all? Why is there something instead of absolutely nothing? Imagine absolute nothingness. No space, no time, no light, no darkness, no atoms, no energy, no thoughts, nothing. Can you imagine it? Probably not. The human mind struggles to understand complete nothingness. Every time? The moment you were born, the world had already begun making decisions for you. Not because anyone wanted to control you, but because every human being is shaped by the world they enter. Think about the first language you ever spoke. You never chose it. Before you even understood the meaning of words, your brain was already learning sounds. Your parents spoke. Your family spoke. The people around you spoke. And slowly, those sounds became your reality. Now imagine something impossible. Imagine that the moment you were born, you were taken to another country, a different language, a different culture, a different religion, different traditions, different values. You would probably laugh at different jokes, celebrate different holidays, eat different food, believe different ideas. You would still call yourself me. But would you really be the same person? Probably not. This leads to an uncomfortable realization. Much of what we proudly call our identity may simply be the result of where we happen to be born. Not because we carefully examined every possibility, but because we inherited them. Think about your beliefs. How many of them have you truly questioned? Not just once. Not because someone on the internet disagreed, but deeply questioned. How many opinions do you hold because you personally investigated every side? And how many simply because they became familiar? The human brain loves familiarity. What we hear repeatedly begins to feel true, not necessarily because it is true, but because it is familiar. This is why advertisements work. This is why propaganda works. This is why rumors spread so quickly. Repetition quietly changes perception. Imagine hearing the same sentence every day for 10 years. Eventually, your mind stops questioning it. It simply accepts it. Without realizing it, we become collectors of borrowed ideas. Some come from parents, some from teachers, some from friends, some from books, some from social media, some from complete strangers. Eventually, those borrowed ideas become our inner voice. Then one day we say, "This is what I believe." But is it? Or is it simply the loudest collection of voices you've heard throughout your life? Let's make this more personal. Think about your greatest fear. Maybe it's failure. Maybe rejection. Maybe loneliness. Maybe being forgotten. Now ask yourself, who taught you that this should be frightening? A newborn baby doesn't worry about reputation. A 2-year-old doesn't lose sleep over career success. Those fears arrive later. They are learned, slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. The same thing, have you ever looked at the night sky and wondered whether you're seeing reality or only your version of it? Every day, your eyes collect light, your ears collect sound, your skin senses temperature, your nose detects smells, your tongue recognizes taste. Your brain receives all of this information, then quietly builds a world for you. Notice that carefully. Your brain does not simply observe reality, it interprets it. Imagine two people listening to the same song. One begins to cry, the other feels absolutely nothing. The music didn't change, the listener did. Now imagine walking into an old classroom. For one person, it brings back happy memories. For another, it reminds them of anxiety and loneliness. Again, the building is the same, only the meaning changes. This happens every single day. We rarely experience reality directly. We experience our interpretation of reality. Think about color. You call the sky blue. I call the sky blue. But how do we know your experience of blue is the same as mine? Maybe what you experience as blue would look completely different to me. We would never know, because we both learn to use the same word. Language hides this mystery. It gives us the illusion that we experience the world in exactly the same way. But perhaps every human being lives inside a slightly different universe. Your memories shape it. Your fears shape it. Your hopes shape it. Your experiences shape it. Even your mood changes it. Have you noticed how different the world feels? When you're happy, the streets seem brighter. People seem kinder. Small problems feel insignificant. Now compare that to a day when you're exhausted. Everything feels heavier. Simple conversations become difficult. Tiny inconveniences become enormous frustrations. Did the world change overnight? Or did your mind change the world you experienced? This is why understanding yourself may be just as important as understanding the universe. Because no matter where you go, you always experience life through the same mind. Perhaps the greatest journey isn't traveling across the world. Perhaps it's learning to see clearly, to recognize when your mind is telling stories and when it is simply observing reality. Because once you begin noticing the difference, you begin waking up, not from sleep, but from unconscious living. And that may be the beginning of seeing life as it truly is. Imagine that every memory you've ever had disappeared overnight. Not just your happiest moments, not only your painful ones, every single memory. You wake up, you know how to walk, you know how to speak, but you don't know your name. You don't know your family. You don't know your dreams. You stand before a mirror. A stranger looks back at you. Then a strange question appears. If your memories disappeared, would you still be the same person? Most people believe memories create identity. They tell us where we came from, what we have survived, who we have loved, who we have lost. But memories are not perfect. Every time you remember something, your brain quietly rebuilds it. Small details change, emotions change, meanings change. Over the years, the story slowly becomes different. Without realizing it, you become the author of your own past. Now imagine reading your favorite book. Each time you open it, a few sentences are different. At first, you barely notice, but after many years, it becomes an entirely different story. Perhaps memory works the same way. Perhaps the person you think you were is partly real and partly rewritten. Maybe that isn't a flaw. Maybe it is the reason human beings can grow. Because if the past could never change, neither could the meaning we give to it. And perhaps true freedom begins the moment you realize you are not only living your story, you are also writing it. For a moment, forget everything you know. About time, think about yesterday. It feels real. You can remember conversations, faces, places, moments that made you smile, moments you wish had never happened. But where is yesterday now? Can you touch it? Can you return to it? No, it exists only as memory. Now think about tomorrow. Perhaps you already have plans, goals, worries, expectations, but tomorrow hasn't arrived. It exists only in your imagination. This leaves us with a strange realization. The past survives through memory. The future survives through imagination. Only this moment actually exists. Yet most of us spend very little time living in it. We replay old mistakes. We predict future disasters. We travel endlessly between yesterday and tomorrow, while the present quietly slips away. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day. Inside it, you place every regret from the past, every fear about the future. The weight keeps increasing. Eventually, you wonder why life feels so exhausting. Perhaps it isn't life that has become heavy. Perhaps it is the stories you continue carrying. What would happen if only for 1 minute you placed that backpack on the ground? Not forever, just long enough to notice your breathing, to notice the air around you, to notice that, right now, in this exact moment, You are simply here. Maybe peace isn't hidden somewhere in the future. Maybe it has always existed, in the only moment life has ever truly happened. Imagine that somewhere in the universe, there is another version of you, a version that made different choices, a version that never gave up, a version that took the opportunity you ignored, a version that never met the people who changed your life. Would that person still be you? Or would they become a complete stranger? Every decision, no matter how small, quietly changes the direction of your life. One conversation, one book, one unexpected meeting, one moment of courage, or one moment of fear, each becomes the starting point of a completely different future. The strange part is, you never realize how important a moment is while you are living it. Only years later, when you look back, do you see the invisible turning points. Life rarely announces, "This moment will change everything." It simply happens, silently, ordinarily, without music, without warning. Perhaps that is why we overlook so much. We are waiting for extraordinary moments, while life keeps transforming us through ordinary ones. Think about the person you were 5 years ago. What did they worry about? What did they dream about? What seemed impossible back then? Now look at yourself today. Some dreams came true, others disappeared. Some fears were unnecessary, others taught valuable lessons. Without noticing, you became someone new. Maybe change isn't something that happens to you. Maybe change is what you are. Like a river, you continue flowing, never becoming exactly the same person twice. And perhaps that is not something to fear. Perhaps it is the most beautiful part of being alive. One day, without realizing it, you experienced your last childhood afternoon, the last time you played a game without thinking about tomorrow, the last time someone carried you in their arms, the last time your parents tucked you into bed. You never notice those moments ending, because endings rarely announce themselves. They simply become memories. Think about the people in your life, the friends you promised to stay in touch with, the neighbors you saw every day, the teachers whose voices once filled your mornings. Many of them quietly disappeared from your story, not because anyone planned it, but because time kept moving. Life is full of invisible goodbyes. The difficult part is that we usually recognize them only after they have already happened. Perhaps that is why ordinary moments matter so much. A simple conversation, a shared meal, a walk with someone you love. At the time, they seem ordinary. Years later, they become priceless memories. Maybe the meaning of life isn't hidden inside extraordinary events. Maybe it lives inside moments so ordinary that we forget to notice them. The cup of tea you drink in silence, the laugh you share with a friend, the breeze that touches your face on an ordinary evening. These moments never ask for attention. Yet one day, you may find yourself wishing you could experience them just once more. Perhaps happiness has never been missing. Perhaps our attention has, and maybe the greatest tragedy isn't that beautiful moments end. It's that we often realize their beauty only after they have become part of the past. There is one companion who has been with you every second of your life, long before your first memory, long before your first success, long before your first heartbreak. And that companion is silence. Before every word, there is silence. After every song, there is silence. Between two thoughts, there is silence. Yet most of us spend our lives trying to escape it. We turn on music. We open social media. We watch another video. We start another conversation. Not because silence is empty, but because silence can be uncomfortable. In silence, there is nothing left to distract us from ourselves. Our unanswered questions return. Our hidden fears appear. Our forgotten dreams begin to whisper. Perhaps that is why so many people fear being alone. Not because they dislike solitude, but because solitude removes every distraction. It introduces them to the person they have been avoiding. Yet silence is also a teacher. It asks for nothing. It judges no one. It simply waits. The more comfortable you become with silence, the more clearly you begin to hear your own mind. Not the voice of society, not the opinions of strangers, but the quiet voice beneath all the noise, the one that has always been there, patiently waiting. Perhaps wisdom is not found by adding more information, Perhaps it appears when unnecessary noise finally disappears. And maybe the answers you have been searching for have never been hiding somewhere far away. Maybe they have been waiting quietly inside the silence you were always trying to escape. Imagine that tonight, as you fall asleep, you have a dream. In that dream, everything feels completely real. You meet people. You walk through cities. You feel happiness. You feel fear. You make decisions. You believe every moment is real. Then suddenly, you wake up. In an instant, the entire dream disappears. The people vanish. The places vanish. The story vanishes. Only the memory remains. Now ask yourself something strange. While you were dreaming, how did you know it wasn't reality? You didn't. Only after waking up did you recognize it as a dream. This raises an unsettling question. What makes you so certain that your waking life is fundamentally different? Of course, this world follows consistent rules. Objects fall. Time moves forward. Other people seem to share the same experiences. Yet every experience you have still arrives through your mind. You have never stepped outside your own consciousness to compare it with reality itself. You only know what your senses allow you to know. Perhaps reality is exactly as it appears. Perhaps it is far stranger. The honest answer is, none of us truly knows. And maybe that isn't something to fear. Maybe mystery is not a problem waiting to be solved. Maybe it is part of what makes existence so endlessly fascinating. After all, if every question already had an answer, there would be nothing left to wonder about, nothing left to explore, nothing left to discover. Perhaps the greatest gift of being human is not certainty. It is curiosity, the quiet desire to keep asking questions, even when the universe chooses to answer with silence.